before becoming a monk practicing the ascetic Dhatanga path. Venerable Minh Tuesday lived an ordinary life caught in the currents of worldly existence. Born in a modest family in Ha Tin province, he later moved with his family to Gia Lai, where he worked as a land surveyor for a private company. His life seemed stable on the surface, but beneath that stability lay an unshakable restlessness. Every day, he witnessed those around him immersed in the endless pursuit of material wealth and social status, unaware that their desires were the root of their suffering. Smiles often masked fatigue. Eyes betrayed worry. And their stories echoed pain. Gradually, he realized that no matter how hard he tried to find fulfillment, dissatisfaction lingered in his heart. As the Buddha taught in the middle-length discourses, craving is the origin of all suffering. The more we cling to impermanence, the deeper we fall into unease and distress. This craving and attachment had chained his soul. One quiet night, under the vast starry sky of the Central Highlands, he sat alone, pondering the silence around him. The tranquility of nature contrasted with the turmoil within, stirring profound questions in his mind. What am I living for? What is the true meaning of life? In that moment, clarity dawned. The teachings of Buddhism, like a guiding light, illuminated his path. The Buddha once said, "Suffering is the path to wisdom." Whoever sees the true nature of suffering takes a step closer to liberation. He realized that his life's hardships were not in vain but rather stepping stones to awakening. With this insight, he began to transform his lifestyle. He voluntarily simplified his needs, reduced material desires, and focused on meditation. He adopted a modest diet, rejected superficial pleasures, and sought peace within. However, despite his efforts to let go, he felt an invisible pull from the world continually drawing him back. This struggle reminded him of the Buddha's teaching in the Dhammapada: just as a bird leaves behind its small nest, a seeker must abandon home and possessions to find freedom of the soul. To achieve true liberation, he understood that he needed to completely renounce worldly attachments and embark on the monastic path. Venerable Minh Tuesday's decision to ordain was not an escape but a profound transformation, a declaration that he was ready to face suffering and uncover ultimate truth. As the Buddha said, "Whoever dares to let go shall find peace." Leaving behind the secular life, he embarked on the austere Dhatanga practice, a challenging yet meaningful journey. In this act of renunciation, he found true freedom for his soul, setting his feet firmly on the path of mindfulness and enlightenment. Venerable Minh Tuesday's decision to renounce worldly life and become a monk was not a sudden impulse but the result of deep contemplation and reflection on the true meaning of life. During his years living an ordinary life, he realized that everything in the world, from work, material possessions, to relationships, was governed by impermanence. Joy would come and go. Happiness would appear fleetingly and then vanish. The more one clung to possessions, the more pain they would feel when those possessions were lost. The Buddha's teaching in the Anguttara Nikaya resonated deeply: whatever is born is subject to decay. By understanding impermanence, one is freed from clinging. This recognition of life's fragility motivated him to seek a path toward lasting peace. His deeper struggles stemmed from witnessing the suffering of others. Laborers toiled endlessly for a living. The wealthy often felt lonely, and ambitious youth seemed perpetually unfulfilled. He, too, could not escape life's pressures, the anxiety about the future, the insecurity of uncertainty, and a nameless fear that persisted in his heart. The Buddha's teaching in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta illuminated the root of such suffering, craving and attachment. He realized that if he continued to live in the cycle of worldly existence, not only he but everyone around him would remain trapped in unending suffering. This realization led him to search for a path of practice that could transform his life. After studying the teachings of Buddhism, he was drawn to the Dhatanga practices, 13 ascetic disciplines that the Buddha himself practiced. These practices not only helped monks reduce dependence on material things but also trained their willpower and mindfulness in every moment. The Dhatanga disciplines demand complete renunciation, a simple life, and transcendence over worldly temptations. The Buddha's teaching in the Daya Nikaya echoed in his mind: one must strive for oneself, no one else can walk the path for you. This rigorous path of self-discipline became his ideal. Not as a way to escape suffering but to confront it with full awareness. Venerable Min Tuesday's decision to become a monk was not merely an act of renouncing material possessions, it was a powerful declaration, letting go of the unnecessary to seek the truth. His motivation was not only to achieve liberation for himself but also to spread the values of mindfulness and renunciation to others. He believed that his actions could serve as an example for those feeling weary in the endless cycle of worldly struggles, inspiring them to find meaning and peace. As the Buddha taught in the Dhammapada, whoever lets go of all craving finds the greatest joy. His decision to embark on the monastic path marked a profound transformation in his life. It was a courageous choice to face all difficulties and seek true peace. His story is not just a personal journey but also a message for all of us: if suffering is inevitable, then recognizing and overcoming it through wisdom is the only way to liberation. Venerable Min Tuesday chose to let go of everything to find freedom and mindfulness, a path we, too, can learn from and apply to discover peace in our own lives. When Venerable Min Tuesday decided to leave worldly life, he did not simply choose to renounce secular existence but also to embark on a rigorous and challenging path of practice, the Dhatanga practices. This was not an easy decision. But for him, it was the ideal way to thoroughly implement the Buddha's teachings and transcend all attachments to achieve true liberation. Dhatanga, in Pali, refers to 13 ascetic practices that the Buddha himself followed before attaining enlightenment and later taught to his disciples. These practices include eating only one meal a day, wearing robes made from discarded cloth, living in secluded places away from the bustle of society, not lying down to sleep but sitting in meditation, and being content with simple and minimal belongings. These practices are not only a way to cultivate patience and self-discipline but also help practitioners let go of material dependence and worldly habits, leading to simplicity, purity, and mindfulness. During his time living a secular life, Venerable Min Tuesday realized that he was still bound by the needs and habits of the mundane world. Despite his efforts to minimize material possessions, he found that he had not yet achieved true freedom of the mind. Dhatanga offered him the opportunity to completely let go, not only of material possessions but also of mental attachments. The teaching in the Anguttara Nikaya inspired him: the wise abandon all possessions, living alone like the rhinoceros, Practicing Dhatanga not only helped him reduce attachment but also trained him to maintain equanimity in all circumstances. Dhatanga was also the perfect path for him to follow in the Buddha's footsteps. These practices were methods that the Buddha himself had used to attain enlightenment. By practicing them, Venerable Minh Tuesday not only felt closer to the Buddha's path but also honored and continued the spirit of his teachings. As the Buddha said in the Dhammapada, "I have made the effort to achieve liberation, you must do the same." This belief motivated him to choose this ascetic path. Not just to train himself but also to inspire others. Dhatanga was also a way for Venerable Minh Tuesday to seek true mindfulness. The austere conditions, such as not lying down to sleep or eating only one meal a day, were not merely physical challenges but also mental exercises that helped him stay mindful in every moment. He once shared, "When everything around you is simple, your mind becomes clearer." For him, simplicity was the path to wisdom and inner freedom. Since he began practicing Dhatanga, Venerable Minh Tuesday has undertaken journeys on foot covering thousands of kilometers. He chose to live in nature, far from urban life, with only a robe made from discarded cloth and an alms bowl. He ate one meal a day, meditated in forests, and lived a life of non-possession. This was not only a form of personal practice but also a way for him to spread the values of mindfulness and simplicity to others. For Venerable Minh Tuesday, Dhatanga was not just an act of personal discipline but also a philosophy of life with profound meaning. It was a way for him to fully embody the Buddha's teachings, live a life of simplicity and purity, and spread the message of renunciation to the community. He demonstrated that happiness does not come from possessing more but from needing less. Dhatanga was also a test of willpower to achieve liberation, as it requires practitioners to overcome their physical and mental limitations. Nights spent meditating instead of sleeping, days walking without a stable shelter, were great challenges that strengthened his resolve and brought him closer to liberation. Venerable Minh Tuesday's decision to undertake Dhatanga was a testament to his courage and determination on the path of practice. It was a difficult but noble journey, a path of absolute renunciation and mindfulness. He not only found peace within himself but also inspired others seeking true happiness to realize that only by simplifying can we find true abundance within. His story is a message to all of us: dare to let go of what is unnecessary to rediscover freedom and true peace. Venerable Minh Tuesday's decision to renounce worldly life and practice Dhatanga was not merely a personal act but also one imbued with profound philosophical meaning. This path of practice was not just about giving up material possessions but also a journey of inner exploration, seeking true freedom, and spreading the message of enlightenment to the community. From his journey, each of us can draw valuable lessons for our own lives. One of the clearest messages from the practice of Dhatanga is the value of simplicity. Venerable Minh Tuesday chose to give up material comforts, live in nature, and adopt a minimalist lifestyle. He demonstrated that when we reduce our dependence on material things, our minds become lighter and freer. The Buddha once taught in the Anguttara Nikaya, happiness does not come from having more but from knowing contentment. This lesson reminds us that happiness is not about accumulation but about letting go of unnecessary things. Living simply does not mean abandoning everything but rather focusing on what truly matters. Looking at Venerable Minh Tuesday's life, we see that true peace does not come from what we own but from understanding and cherishing ourselves in every moment. His journey is also a testament to the philosophy of letting go to find liberation. He abandoned the safety and stability of worldly life to face the rigorous challenges of spiritual practice. This shows that liberation does not come from avoiding suffering but from confronting it with wisdom and courage. The Buddha once said, "Whoever lets go of all attachments will find peace." Letting go is not merely an external action but a process of shedding internal clinging. The path of Dhutanga demands discipline and inner strength. But in this complete renunciation, Venerable Minh Tuesday found profound serenity. Through his rigorous practice, Venerable Minh Tuesday demonstrated that mindfulness is a core element of enlightenment. Challenges like eating one meal a day, not lying down to sleep, and walking thousands of kilometers were not just physical exercises but ways to keep his mind present in the moment. He once shared, "When everything around you is simplified, your mind becomes clearer and more focused." This lesson reminds us of the value of mindfulness. Even in secular life, everyone can practice mindfulness in small actions, breathing, walking, or the way we treat others. Dhutanga is not just a journey of renunciation but also a test of willpower and inner strength. The austere conditions Venerable Minh Tuesday chose required immense perseverance and determination. Each day of living austerely was a lesson in pushing beyond his limits. The Buddha once taught, "No one can walk the path for you. You must walk it yourself." His journey reaffirms that enlightenment can only be achieved through continuous effort and practice. Venerable Minh Tuesday's journey was not only meaningful for himself but also a way to sow seeds of goodness and inspire the community. Through his walking pilgrimages, simple life, and compassion, he spread the message of letting go, mindfulness, and harmony with nature. His presence serves as a reminder, happiness is not at the destination but in the way we live each day. Even if you are not a monastic, his story can motivate you to simplify your life, reduce unnecessary burdens, and focus on spiritual values. Venerable Minh Tuesday's journey is living proof that happiness and peace are not found in accumulation but in letting go and being mindful. He not only found peace for himself but also inspired others to discover their own path. As the Buddha once taught, only when one learns to let go can they truly be free. His story is a profound reminder that wherever you are and whatever you do, dare to let go of what is unnecessary. Live more simply, and deeply connect with yourself. It is in that letting go that you will find freedom, happiness, and true peace within your soul. The life and spiritual journey of Venerable Minh Tuesday is not just a personal story but a meaningful lesson for all of us. Through renunciation, austerity, and unwavering determination, he has shown that true happiness and peace do not come from accumulation but from freeing oneself from the burdens of the mind. Even as lay people, we can learn from his journey. Try letting go of what is unnecessary, living more simply, and cherishing the present moment. As the Buddha taught, only when you let go can you truly be free. If you feel inspired by this story, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe and share this video to spread these positive values to others. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. May you always find peace and mindfulness in every moment.